motet we know was written for a funeral. I mean, it's dedicated to one of Bach's friends. Do you get a sense of that in performing it?
It's interesting. I thought about this, and it's really an upbeat piece in many respects. It's exciting. It's uplifting right from the opening few measures. I think everyone will notice that it's major, it's bright, it's exciting, and one of the textual themes is the unity of Christians and people coming together. And so, although it doesn't carry the minor dirge-like feel that we would expect for a funeral piece, it celebrates life and unity, which is one of the ideas I think Bach was trying to display.
From the St. Christopher Singer's point of view, what was the challenge in preparing for this? Were you able to rehearse very often with the children's choir?
Well, we had one rehearsal on our own, and then we had several shorter rehearsals with the children's choir. I think one of the difficulties when you mix a children's ensemble and an adult ensemble is, well, there are a few issues, but one is certainly balance. And that's something that I think we've spent a lot of time dealing with, and I think that we have finally got our hands around it. At the same time, there's issues of energy, excitement, that the St. Christopher's men, we bring it to the table, but we have to work a little bit harder at it in a certain way. Whereas the children seem to come in, and at least from my perspective, they have so much energy and excitement and enthusiasm that, well, they motivate us in many ways.
Could it be you're getting old?
No.
I don't know about that. Well, let's see what members of the children's choir have to say about that. Amy, what would you say is the biggest challenge for the children's choir in performing with those old guys?
I'd say it's probably the maturity of the piece. Like it was probably written for an older choir. It's got, it's a dark German sound, and it certainly for a funeral, it's a very mature piece of music, and how the choir though is always being able to kind of step up to the plate in singing pieces that are just at all levels. So I think that was probably the biggest challenge.
Well, it's interesting, because I think that is the flip side of what Brian had to say there. Emma, from your point of view, in thinking about singing with your choir and then joining together with the adult choir and then bringing in the period instruments, how ready do you feel you are with all of these elements having to kind of come together all at once tonight?
I hope we're ready for it. I feel like it's gotten better every time we've done it. So I feel like tonight could be the best time, hopefully.
What about the heavy level, I like saying heavy, the material, the text that you're dealing with? Do you have a sense of its meaning and what Bach was trying to convey?
For the most part, I feel that a lot of the challenge has been more with the music itself and less about kind of the meaning of the words, although you have to get that across, but definitely having the right sound, like you said, and getting that kind of across.
Michael, now, the other element of this isn't just bringing together the two choirs. It's being able to support them from the orchestra's point of view. What's the challenge for you in that?
The challenge whenever you are accompanying voices is, well, deep down, and this is my personal feeling, is that we all, as an instrumentalist, we all want to be singers. And, well, it's true. I mean, we're all communicating a text, whether it's a musical text or whether it's a sort of an unwritten subtext in the music. It's all about consonants and vowels and color. And that's what we're trying to communicate in instrumental music by using trills and, vibrato if you can on an instrument that does that. Or composers perhaps will go to a different range of the keyboard just to get a different color. And we all, well, most of us, try and breathe so that we're in sort of phrases that are sort of a breath length, so that the music has sort of space and breath. So I love working with singers because they teach you how, in many ways, in instrumental music, how to play. And accompanying, because this has a set of original parts that Bach actually wrote for this motet. It's the only set of parts that he wrote for of the 6 motets. we have to underscore the lines as the choir is singing them. We have to breathe with them. We have to put consonants where the choir has consonants. We have to, have different things with the vowels, shape the vowels. So we have to do a lot of instrumental singing so that it underscores exactly what's happening. Because if they're doing one thing and we're doing another, it just sounds like sort of a mess, and it's just sort of a cacophonous sort of thing. But if we're all sort of moving together and we're approaching the music in a vocal way, it just sort of almost becomes a choir of, it actually becomes 2 8-part choirs. Even though we're doubling, we're adding a different color. We produce different vowels in different ways. So it's not just sort of sitting in the orchestra and plucking out notes. We're really trying to underscore what's happening. And in rehearsal, we spent time going through bowings and making sure our phraseology matched what the choir was doing. So it's a very important thing. Like I said, we all deep down want to be singers.
Well, I'm glad you're channeling your inner singer tonight.
Well, I've been married to one.
So we know now what to listen for from the orchestra, to see if they, in this motet, to see if they get that phrasing right, to see if they are giving us those consonants. Emma, what do you want us to listen for when we hear the motet tonight?
There's a lot of parts in it because it's for double choir. There's a lot of parts where the 2 choirs will echo each other or, kind of be just staggered a little bit and coming just at different parts but singing almost the same thing. So it's really interesting to listen to and for us to sing it too because, to kind of point out, oh, this is where this happens and this is, you sing this and then you sing this and then, to hear the kind of the rhythms and the patterns of music is really interesting.
All right, so there's one thing you want us to pay attention to. What do you think, Amy? What would you like us to hear tonight out of this?
I was going to say something very similar. It's such a textural piece. Just listening to the way the parts fit together and overlap, and it's very woven. So it's really neat to try and pick out different parts, accidentals, that type of thing. It's just really neat to listen to all the little bits.
All right, Brian, we'll give you the final word. As we hear this being sung tonight, what do you want us to pay special attention to?
Well, I would honestly suggest just closing your eyes and taking in the entire piece. It's such a fantastic, fantastic work. I particularly enjoy the contrast in the 3 sections. I'm sure everyone will hear when a new section begins. It's very distinct. There's an obvious meter change each time, and there's new material that comes out and it develops, and it's so exciting. I would close your eyes, sit back, relax, take it all in, the text, the instrumentalists, the singers, the entire production. I think it's fantastic work.
Well, thank you all very much. It's going to make hearing that final piece so much richer. I want to thank my guests here. We have Brian Wisman, who is with the St. Christopher Singers and new to us here in Victoria. Glad you are with us, Brian. Sitting right here is Amy Dawson, who has returned to the Victoria Children's Choir for our performance this evening. And a first-year Victoria Children's Choir member, Emma Gillespie, who's 14, and our wonderful harpsichordist, Michael Jarvis. Thank you all.